What up? It's Casper. Today I'm going to be talking about the second episode of the TV series 1883. The second episode is called Behind Us, a Cliff, directed by Ben Richardson. Episode 2 is 1 hour long. So in the second episode, we still have all the same people who were involved in the first episode. This episode, we get more involved on how they live this life, more understanding on what they do, and more understanding on how they attack a date. Really enjoyed the writing for this episode. It had a really cool adventure vibe with introducing new characters. This episode also brought you to places where I was like, yo, this is real cool country western feel. Really enjoyed the spots this second episode brought us to a bar that I didn't think that we were gonna see till maybe later, but I really enjoyed the shots that they had in the salon and that crazy shootout that they had in there. We're still seeing the characters from episode 1 move through the Great Plains, move west. The character Elsa, she was more of the standout. A lot of her characteristics were actually very interesting. A lot of stuff that they showed us in this second episode, I was like, yo, that's very interesting to know. We saw how comfortable she is on just doing a lot of man duties and handling a lot of stuff more proper and more on point than a regular dude would handle it. Her cowboy instincts and the way she maneuvers is very insane. The way she moves around, you can tell she's just a natural. Really cool, the connection with Elsa and her father James in this episode. You could see that the connection is so real. I really enjoyed that we saw more of her personality. We saw how she is when she's handling duties with her dad, and you've seen the scenarios in here where she's not too comfortable on handling it, but when she's with her dad, she knows that she has to get it done. Elsa opened up a little bit in this episode on flirting with the cowboys. That was an interesting look. Besides all these characters that this second episode is bringing you, it doesn't shy away from the main focus on moving the whole crew, the whole people, moving them out together, and seeing that a lot of these people who are trying to move as a unit are not as educated and not as smart as the main characters. So Elsa was really cool in this second episode. You see her more open up, you see her more tactical. Once again, the costume design for all these characters, especially Elsa, you can see that the hygiene being under the sun was taking a toll. You can see that they're very hot and sweaty being under the sun. They wear the same clothes all the time, so I think that was really good detail on seeing that they really didn't have much to travel with. Environment in the second episode is very concrete. We see a lot of people fiending for water and drinking water out of the lake and already knowing that that's going to be bad. Good detail in the writing to show why it is bad, what could happen to a person drinking that water. I feel like I'm saying his name wrong, but in this episode he goes by Captain. Sam Elliott's character is Shea Brennan, but we're just gonna go with Captain. I really enjoyed the Captain's screen time because he still played his role. He's observing everybody. He's really quick with his answers, and he's seen a lot of stuff in his day. Really liking that character development with him because I'm getting more of a feel of who he is. His friend is still here in the second episode, Thomas. Thomas is just doing his thing. Thomas fits well with this second episode as well. He pops up here and there. James, played by Tim McGraw. With everything I said with hygiene, seeing how everyone is in that condition, seeing that they barely eat, seeing that they're always on the move, you can see all the action, all the duties, all the work with James's character. He knows what he has to do right away, and I really like that he connects with the captain, and the captain and James in this episode have a really good screen time together. So I think the detail between both of them is growing a lot, and I really enjoying how they both are figuring out plans to make the whole crew that's following them survive. They're doing whatever they can, knowing that a lot of the people who was traveling with them are not in the best of health. They're not in the best condition. This episode, we're seeing James and the captain go out and find all these cattle, find all these cows. So the adventure in this episode is very real and enjoyable. I really like to see how even back then everything was done with horses, gathering money, gathering food, gathering information. All that was traveled through horses, and in this episode, good usage on the small things that I totally forgot, like having to clean all the dishes by boiling water. I really like the detail of like when the day is over, they just lay down wherever they can. Do see a shootout in here where I was actually surprised. This is not a normal shootout. This is like robbery, thief, heist shootout where the whole family and the whole people and the crowd and the whole village is traveling with, you know, Elsa, James, and the captain and everybody and the family. But then you see all these bandits come out of nowhere. Interesting scene, because the people who are traveling with the whole crew, you see how they react whenever bandits are here. The cowboys were cool because you can see they're not the most educated. In this episode, here and there will be a couple cowboys that get the main screen time. In my opinion, those characters are well added. Did enjoy the hunting that they were doing. Really dope environment, really cool set design. You're getting more comfortable with these characters doing their thing, and you're just trying to support them and make sure they win in every scenario. The pacing in the second episode is really well done. But as right now, things are getting interesting with Elsa and James, and definitely with the captain. The vibe is actually picking up, and it's an attachment vibe for sure. The sound in the back is dope. Editing is great. Simplicity camera direction, but the camera direction is very crispy on the quality, so really enjoyed it. Tim McGraw is doing a crazy good job as a cowboy, and his whole action, his demeanor, and everything he does so far from the second episode is on point. You see a lot of stuff in here that you just see how grimy it was back then. After my watching the second episode of 1883 out of 10, I'm gonna have to give the second episode a 9 out of 10. So that's my review for the second episode of 1883 Behind Us a Cliff. Shout out to you guys for tuning into the video. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, y'all.